So we're back looking at our graph of all the male and female athletes and following up on the hunch that lean body mass will probably have an effect on weight for elite athletes who probably shouldn't be carrying a lot of excess body fat. And it's really interesting when you colour by gender that there's two different things going on in the data. So I think that for merit and certainly excellence, I would like to look at separating the two genders out and looking at them separately and seeing if we can see any sort of story going on in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, for my variable 3, I'm going to choose gender. And then we've got two graphs. Notice how they've got different equations, and that the male data quite closely conforms to the line, so it's a lovely linear relationship. The female one is a little bit more scattered. So if there's any that you really want to talk about, you can find out who they are by labeling the points and then finding that point number back in the spreadsheet over here. Okay, and what you can also do is you can find out if there's any sort of impact of different sports, because the research that we've read says that, you know, sports that demand a high aerobic capacity tend to have lower lean body masses. So let's have a look. So let's look at sport. And interestingly, for the women, the gymnasts have got the smaller weight and the smaller lean body mass and the smaller weight. Probably not that surprising. This athlete here in the red plays baseball, I believe. And that's interesting. And over here in the males, the gymnasts, we seem to have, they have a larger lean body mass, and they're at the top of the scale for the weights as well. Interesting. So this is all available to you to check out, to just find more about the stories of what's going on for the genders and for the types of athletes. And there's a wealth of things that you can discuss. You can even discuss that the intercepts, -12, does that make sense? Would it make sense to go back to the point where it crosses through at -12? So yeah, there's a lot that you can talk about in there. Now, when you start to put this together, you're going to need to create a slideshow, because you're going to present it as a slideshow. One of the very first things that I have to do is to, whenever I find a good reference, store it somewhere. So you're welcome to look at my slideshow and my references and follow the outline of problem, plan, data, analysis, conclusion. So I've worked with my problem. I've worked with a reason why. So we could use a model to suggest that if an athlete is over or underweight. Clearly mentioned independent variable, dependent variable. It makes sense, doesn't it, that people can't really do much about their lean body mass, but they can vary quite a bit in their weight. So, yeah, so that's the one that that varies widely. And then I'm going to put a link in of something else that you can look at, which is very useful. Here it is here. So I'll link that for you as well. It's just a wee, very clear example of an internally assessed, achieved. Okay, so it's up to you. I'm gonna leave you with my start of my Google Slides. You're going to have to get started. You're going to have to assemble a PowerPoint and, of course, hand it in to me or your other teachers for marking.